Well, it says I'm broadcasting live and on my phone. It's waiting for me. There we go. Phone is waiting for me. Sounds a little distorted. Put that away so I don't drop it again. Hi, Hippie. How you doing? Hi, Dwight. I thought I'd just do a live stream for the heck of it in the middle of the day. Somebody else had a live stream and they got dinged for copyright notice and had to shut down. Alex Radford, and I enjoyed his playing more than I enjoy mine, but I can't quite see all the comments because I keep getting Edwin. Yes, it's my birthday today. Way too many of them. The 68th. So I made 67 last as long as I could, but it's all inevitable. I always celebrated on the 17th. I was supposed to be born on St. Patrick's Day, and I came a few minutes early, so I surprised everybody. How's everybody doing with the virus thing? Thank you. I just went out and had lunch with family, and we went to a chain restaurant called Elmer's, and we got there. We went at 11:30, so we beat the lunch crowd. We always do that, and of course, what was left over was the breakfast crowd, and pretty soon the place emptied out, and there was no lunch crowd at all. It was like one other person at a table, nobody else there. And so I walked around to some of the business. I thought about going around doing some photography, and I might do that tomorrow. But a lot of the businesses were open, but they all had signs up talking about, we have sanitizer, please wash your hands. Did I miss somebody? I said hi to Hippie, hi to Edwin, Dwight Bailey. How are you doing, Dwight? Well, I always do late night streams. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know how to do more than one person. So I went grocery shopping last Thursday, and the store was stocked to the ceiling, man. They had everything. And we have a store here called Winco, and I was going to go early in the morning. I went initially in the middle of the day, which was foolish, and then I went back later in the wee hours of the morning. But they had everything, and except on the toilet paper aisle. It was kind of weird. I'm going to tilt that down a little bit. And no, I can't read it. To figure this stuff out here. Try not to drop a guitar while doing it. Well, that's a little better. There we go. I'm trying out a new pedal. I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow. I don't think I can show it here, though. Well, because it's all plugged in. It's called I talked about this on Hippie's stream last night. Oh, David Ennis. Hi, how are you? I didn't see you there. It is It's a Robert Keeley pedal called the Memphis Sun, and it's a echo and reverb. Tries to capture the vibe of Sun Records back when Scotty Moore was there. Hi, Craig. So messing about with an Epiphone. I generally hate Epiphone because I've tried so many that had bad fret sprouts and bad nuts and bridges. And this one, the store, there used to be a store up in Portland called Apple Music. And they had, it was like 3 Guitar Centers all in one. That was just their guitar shop. Next door, they had a drum shop and an acoustic shop. Joe, how are you doing? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Around Joe, man, Joe, I better not mention anything about the head, huh? The headstock. It's old world. Anyway, they had to completely redo all the frets, and they put a new nut in and put a whole new bridge in before they put it on the out on the floor. They had to do a lot of work, and yeah, I don't usually. Yeah, Joe, I don't usually. I think it's a lot of people's first because I think Hippie was on one of my streams, and Edwin was on a week ago. He was the only person on. They're not Filtertrons. It's an Epiphone. They're Filtertron-ish, but they don't quite get it compared to even the Broadtron. The Streamliner Gretches have more of a Filtertron, I think, a Filtertron feel than this. These are Epiphone's own pickups. I forget what they're called. Yeah, I printed something out. I don't know what I did with it, but it's all, yeah, it's an Epiphone pickup. And they sound great. They're just very humbuckerish. But got it on clean because I was just messing around with the pedal. Yeah, that's my experience, Craig. That they're real. I don't know about the new ones. You know, I went to Guitar Center about a week ago before the big virus, and I was just heck bent on buying a double cut Gibson, and they pulled the Gibson down from the shelf, and the fret sprout was so bad I would have had to do both sides up and down, and I just handed it back to the guy. It was just terrible. Then I started feeling the frets on the new Epiphones, and man, they were all perfect, every one of them. So I even played I don't even know what model it is. It's kind of looks like a Les Paul with some sort of single coil pickup. You go, Joe. Yeah, yeah, picks are always a nightmare for me because I've never been good at holding on to them. Now I got arthritis, and it's even worse. So I take a regular thumb pick. I don't have one here, but I take a regular, one of those white picks that I'd use for bass. I think they're maybe called banjo picks. And I would burn, well, in the old days before the environment, I would burn I'd burn it down so it was just the thumb part. Then I would take whichever pick I wanted, and I would put it in and glue it down with super glue like that. And that way I'd never drop it. So, and those picks, those white, I called them bass picks growing up, but those will stay on your thumb forever. Wedgie picks. See if I can find something here. Hi, Pete. Haven't seen you in a while. You're going to use a pin punch. So you're going to like rivet a pick to something or what? You got two cases. Yeah, you and I were talking about that on Alex's stream a little bit ago. You got two. We got 6 or 7 in the county just south of me where I had breakfast this morning. That's where I used to work. It's in the Albany, Oregon area. And then in my county, just north of Lynn County, I think we have 3 cases now in Marion County, 2 or 3, and 6 or 7 down there. The alarming one today on the case was it was a staff. Thank you, Hippie. Yeah, I don't really celebrate my birthday, so to speak, but it's the one time a year where I guess I'd have to go to the store though. Geez, I haven't thought of that. It's the one time a year where we go out and usually get cake or pie or something, but I don't know what's on schedule. Had breakfast or lunch at a restaurant. The kicker was we got there early so we could avoid the lunch crowd. And then it was pretty crowded actually. And but it was just the leftover from the late breakfast crowd. And as soon as we got there, bit by bit, it just totally thinned out. And then there was no lunch crowd. The lunch crowd never came. So, and that was at a restaurant called Elmer's, like a kind of a pancake house that serves lunch and dinner and everything. So I see Joseph D'Angelo here. I always said with Joseph, he should be building guitars with a great name like D'Angelo. Don't worry about it, Joe, man. I'm a mess when it comes. Hippie can testify to that last night, man. I could not. That wasn't even on a phone. That was on my computer. I couldn't type. So I think. I'm up in Oregon, Layla. Remind me where you're at. Yeah, where's everybody at? I know Hippie's up in Alaska, and I know Edwin is in South Carolina or North Carolina? South Carolina, I think. I'm up in Oregon. I'm kind of in the western part of Oregon where all the people live, between Portland and Eugene. Yeah, I do too. I used to be pretty good at typing, and it has really left me in the last couple of years. Indiana. Yeah. You're that fast of a typer, Craig. Wow, that's good. That's cool. That knowing how to type, man, that paid off in jobs. I tell you, I was having to do a lot of typing every day. It used to be everything. I worked in a clinic. Everything was handwritten notes in the old days, and people would say, "What did you say in your note?" I can't read your writing, because my writing was so messy. And then they went to computers, and I had to get good quick again. You're in Missouri, David. Wow. And they had some cases there, I think, recent, didn't they? I guess there's kind of at the point where there's cases everywhere. Oh, Pete, you're in Australia. Okay. That's right. That's right. And you're heading into fall here pretty quick. I know you guys have had some how are the fires down there? Has that all settled down, or is it still, because you're still in summer, huh? Yeah, Craig, I'm too far south to see Rainier. It's up by Seattle. I can see Mount Hood up on the Columbia Gorge, and down by me, if I just go east of here about 100 miles, 110 miles, I'll be at Mount Jefferson. You work at a local hospital. Oh, wow. Stay safe. Wow. I worked at a hospital for people with mental health issues for 17 years. So um, we would have viruses go through. Of course, those were wards where people stayed. And if you got a virus in one of those wards, it's not like people got admitted and discharged. Halface, how you doing? I thought somebody else had done was doing a live stream about the guitar playing community and coronavirus, and I thought, wow, what a great idea that is. And so we were on there, but he was playing Alex Radford, and he was playing some great stuff. Geez, he's really good. And but he was playing some copyrighted stuff, and even while he was up streaming, he got dinged and I think shut down. I wasn't quite looking at it right when it happened, but he went away really quick and went over to streaming on something called DLive, which I'd never heard of. So the fires are all gone. Okay, that's good news. Yeah, I followed the fires on a little news feed on YouTube and wow, that was terrible sounding. So I haven't done anything to set this up at all. So my E-band or the microphone on the Logitech camera is so sensitive that even at this level, I'm almost peaking. And I have it turned down. I can hear it, but it's just really low. So I don't know. I'm going to have to come up. I'm going to have to learn OBS so I have some control over the volumes and the output. Oh, he is on DLive. Yeah, I don't know. I'd never heard of that until he mentioned it. You've been on DLive, Edwin? Yeah. Man, stuff is just really, oh, it does sound good, Dwight. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, stuff is expanding. So I saw somebody talk about that they were also, it wasn't a music channel. It was talking like a news channel on YouTube. And they were saying we're also broadcasting on Discord. And I had never heard anything about it. I got to get over and try some of those other things. Gabriel Tone, how are you? Maybe if I keep it quiet, I won't get busted, huh? Yeah, Twitch I was on like a year or so ago, and just because there was a game I was interested in, and I wanted to watch somebody play it to see what it was like. And sure, Craig, yeah. What's your joke? I give up. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I got to figure out how to turn off. Every time a new video comes out on YouTube, I get notified. And there is one for a fellow named Florentine Tise, Tise plus, and he's a classical player, and he's on some of the other guitar channels. He'll show up, and he's really good. But he's interested in I don't know what he's learning, maybe more like rock and roll type guitar or something. So. You gave up on picks, Joseph? Yeah. Or do you use like thumb picks at all, or just finger pick? I've tried everything. When I actually played in a band and used a pick, so I could actually do a little bit of double picking, I'd always keep it like 3 or 4 stuck up in the on the guitar, and it would just be like, halfway through the first set, I'd be on my 5th one, because I'd play and it would go flying. I just have that vision of picks flying through the air in slow motion, and me grabbing another one, and then me looking down and saying, "Uh-oh, I don't have any more." So I've gone to, oftentimes I leave just a little bit of nail, not much, and I actually just squeeze my index finger and my thumb together, and double picking's a little hard. Upstrokes are very hard because you don't really get the nail. You quite often get the meat of the finger. Yeah, and Andy's about 70 miles north of me, or was originally. Yeah, maybe it's an Oregon thing, Northwest thing. I don't know, but yeah, that's exactly. Andy does that too. I was glad to see him do it. Yeah, it confuses me too, because a couple of times I swear he had a pick, and then all of a sudden it disappeared, and I thought, what kind of sorcery is this? And it wasn't until later I found out he doesn't use a pick. But yeah, I use the same as. I actually I did a video on my Reverend Club King a while back, and I think in that video I blamed Andy, because he had a beautiful green Club King, Reverend Club King, that he used to play. And it's kind of it wants to be a telly, but it's semi-hollow. And it was just a beautiful green. So I bugged him in the comments to sell me your green Club King. I finally ended up buying a all natural one, which was just an amazing deal. Access 2084 has a new video. Boston on a stock Ibanez. Geo? Something about you. GIO. What's that mean? I thought maybe you meant, no, I can't remember the name. Oh, Halface, man, you got my attention. You played I don't have any of the P90s from Reverend at all. Do you like those? That's what I wanted, actually. Gosh, now you're pressing my memory, because it's been over 3 weeks since I did that video. I think I wanted to say mine have the Revtrons in it, but I think, yeah, they do. It does. My Club King has the Revtrons. Hey, Edwin, you stay safe too. We'll see you later, buddy. We'll see you 1 o'clock next Sunday morning. I'm probably not going to do that. Yeah, I love my Reverends. They're actually probably, if I had to, Craig, you have a good lunch break also. Or you had a good lunch break. You have a good afternoon. Yeah, I like my Reverends. I have a Tricky Gomez and a Manta Ray also. And the Manta Ray I bought from Pro Guitar Shop when they were closing their guitars out, when Andy was still up there. And one has the humbuckers, and the other has the Revtrons. And I'm going to show those sometime. They're probably my very favorite guitars that I own. I just love them. Whoa. Where am I? Yeah, I played all tellies and all strats on most of my life. And somewhere, I don't remember what my first semi-hollow was, but I knew I always wanted one. And when I got one, that was it. It was all over for me, man. I still got to have a solid body. I got to have it all. It's bad gas. So I have a lot of hollow bodies and semis now. Probably as many as I do solid bodies now. Different types, different shapes, different functions, jazz boxes, and things like this. The Gretches, if you've seen the Gretsch videos. And Robert Clark, how are you? I love your videos, Robert. People haven't subscribed to Robert's stuff. Actually, yeah, all you guys subscribe to one another. Uh, Robert does some cool, chill, ethereal, neat stuff on his channel, and go and check it out. Oh, they changed the Revtrons this year. I did not know that. Oh, I wonder how they changed it, because I liked them just fine. I have to, well, I like them just fine. They're great pickups, but I always had that sense that I wanted a little more of a Filtertron quality to them, just a little more. You were a drummer for 30 years. Wow. You got good, a guitar player with good timing. That's not, that ain't natural. That ain't right. David, you went to 3 doctors? What's going on, man? Maybe if I play songs real slow, I won't get dinged. Hippie, thank you so much. Yeah, if any of you guys haven't checked out Hippie's live streams, I don't really I don't really want. He plays. He's a metal guy, obviously, by his name, and I find some metal stuff I hear off and on just fascinating, because I'm into chord theory, and occasionally they really, you know, a lot of stuff's power chords, but once in a while they fool me with some sort of something going on, and very good, Robert. Yeah. Yeah, so I like his streams are pretty chill. So I like all the streams, but sometimes, man, they get really busy, and I just don't. Jack the Rabbit. Here's another guy. Robert plays real chill stuff. I said Jack writes some of his own original music and has a great voice, and I tell you, I want to be a record producer, Jack, so I can get you on. Well, I was gonna see. It's my birthday today. That's how old I am, so I can get you on vinyl. There ain't no vinyl hardly anymore. It's coming back. Is Hack in here too? Guitar Hack, how are you? And again, if you guys, Guitar Hack has great live streams, and he does independent other videos. I just watched because I was looking at that Gibson. I was talking about that. If you hadn't tuned in, I went to Guitar Center last week. Really dead set on buying a double cut, a Gibson double cut, and the fret sprout was so bad I just handed it back to the guy. And then I went and looked at all the new Epiphones, and the fret sprout on those was 0. I mean, they were all just so smooth up and down, which historically has not been my experience with Epiphones. So Hack anyway did a Epi versus Gibson on like a Les Paul style, and it was really worth listening to because they both had P90s, and listening to the difference in the sound between the Epiphone P90s and the Gibson P90s was a wake-up call. But then I'm just, that was a $2,000 Gibson though, so it probably didn't have fret sprout. I just find it fascinating that Gibson, with a high quality name like they've had over the years, that they would allow, even at $599, that they would allow a guitar to get out the door in that sort of shape. So, I will do a quick show and tell, because if any of you have watched my videos, well, I got 2 amps. I got a Vox AC4 over here. I got an AC10 out elsewhere. But most of the time, I'm always surprised at how good it sounds. Now I won't be able to get it up in front of the camera. Oh, there, I just moved the camera or I moved the screen. Anyway, this is a Boss E-Band. Let's see if I can do this. It comes with on a micro SD card, or maybe a regular SD, I don't know, because they have it kind of bolted down, with a whole bunch of different backing tracks. And you can wheel through. Let's see if I can do this somehow. You can wheel through and get all sorts of different styles of backing tracks. Some are good, some less than good. Some are great. Most of them are like little 15-second backing tracks. Up them at the bottom of the list. But I mean, if you go to different genres, they have quite a bit. I mean, there's a bunch in jazz, there's a bunch in Latin. So they'll give you a snippet of something that's kind of like Santana or something like that, that's not enough to get busted. Although I got my first copyright for one of these backing tracks. Some guy had created a song over one of the backing tracks and is now claiming a copyright on it. But you can get, and some sound, like I said, some are good and some are not. For metal folks, some of them are simplified just so they have bass and drums. Some have guitar and drums and are made for bass. And it goes on and on and on. And you can see the little thing here that's showing it where you're at on the list. I do wish they were numbered. Yeah, there's metal, cowbell rock. Yeah, Gabriel tone. I've fixed my own fret sprout. If it's not too bad on that Gibson, it was on both sides from the first fret all the way up on both sides. So, um, yeah, Jack, that thing's great, and you can actually record over the track. You can start making your own recording, and if you have some way of making your own backing tracks, you can actually put them on a thumb drive, and it has a space for a thumb drive, so you can play your own tracks. When you pick a track that's in there, it assigns an amp with effects. Sometimes they hit it on the nose, and sometimes, like, there's one that was like jazz samba, and you figure it'll be a nice, clean kind of jazzy thing, and in fact, it's this heavily distorted. Once in a while, I get it goofy, and the ones that come with it will tell you what key it's in. And I shrunk my page up showing that somehow. There we go. You just use a regular little fingernail file. Wow. You're scaring me. Yeah, Jack, that's a friend of mine makes fun of me because I always say, I don't like Boss stuff, man. I don't like it at all. He always says, man, you sure own a lot of Boss stuff for not liking it, you know. So we'll go to the song list and the menu, and we'll go to my USB. And so, like, this is a backing track I made on Band in the Box. I hope we can hear it. Anyway, that gives you an idea. You can make your own backing tracks and play over them there too. Now, I could have recorded that on a single track. It's like a looper where you record one thing on top of another. So Halface, I missed your comment. Pretty good for $100 for what was that? What's that for? Yeah. Yeah, so I do like I especially like the E-band, just for practice. It's a great tool, although I just use it when I make videos, and I've come to the conclusion, as much as I like a nice sound of a tube amp, that when you're doing it over YouTube, it's hard to tell one thing from another. I think I can tell that, it depends on the setting. Some of the settings on the E-band come across as they've got an analog vibe. I mean, they sound pretty good. And then the very next one you go to is that old scratchy, itchy digital sound. So, um, yeah, so Zoom. I have, oh, it's not here. I have the Zoom, one of the original Zoom G3, G5, the small little one. And that thing's been rock steady for me for years. And for those that don't know Zoom, you just dial in what type of pedal you want on an LCD screen, and it looks just like a pedal. So you got like 3 screens on that one. And it just looks like 3 things like that, and you can go in and it gives you, and it's the most intuitive designed multi-effects box I've ever seen. So you could buy one of those old I don't remember which one I have, a G3, I think, G something, and you can be up and running with it in 2 minutes, literally. There's no learning curve at all. Now, if you want to start saving banks with different groups of pedals in it, that's going to take a little longer, but you can just set up 4. And there again, much like the E-band, some of the drives in that Zoom sound not so good, but some are pretty amazing. That I think if you ran it through a big speaker system, G3N hippie, that's what I have. Yeah, and I bought a G5 and it lasted like the warranty was a year, and it lasted like a year. And well, the first one was less than a year. The right side LCD went out, and I looked it up, and according to some blogs, that's a problem with Zoom, and it's always it's the right side LCD, and it works. You just can't see what's in the right side, so you're cut down to on the 5, instead of having 5, you're cut down to 4 because you don't know what's going on in 5. And so I sent it back in, and they sent me a brand new one, and that one lasted a year and a week or something like that. And the right side window went out on that one too. But on the G3s, I had one and decided to get rid of it and sold it to a friend. He still got it; it still works. And then I ended up buying another used G3, and it still works. And that's been some years. I'm a big multi-effects guy. I'm a big. I don't usually I don't care for the drives on most of them. On some of them I do. I have a Carl Martin Quattro, and that's pretty good. And I have a T-Rex Soulmate, and that's pretty good. But I think those are all analog drives. So there's what that guitar and that blues thing sounded like. In the mix, it sounded okay, kind of. But when you isolate it, it's just terrible. That's not that bad. It's not that bad. The E-band is a lot of menu driven, and to go in and change amp that they assign, you got to go in deep into the menu. It's not that deep though. It's basically let me look. I have one. It's a Boss GT100 built into the little E-band, and I keep hoping they will upgrade it with some sort of Katana Wazacraft stuff, and I would buy one right away. And what's really scary is I output that to a while back. Do not laugh, for you guys that are real audio. Audiophiles, you'll laugh at this, but I got this at Guitar Center a while back, and it's just it says it's 300 watts. You know, how would you know unless you get in there and test it out? But it's got 2 tins, and it's a powered speaker, and you take that E-band and put it through this, and you will scare yourself. And the only thing I don't like about it, there's no EQ on it at all. So you got to EQ from the E-band, and that's into the menu system. But if I was playing live in a club, I did a jazz Christmas thing last year. I played a few Christmas songs in kind of a jazzy style with it. Robert, we'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Oh, you have the 212 jack. Wow. That's got to be scary, huh? Yeah, anyway, this thing will blast me out of the home. So I did a little Christmas jazz thing, and I took my backing tracks from Band in the Box that I converted to little WAV files, put them on a thumb drive, used them in the E-band, and I just looked at the USB, and it just gives me my song list right there. So after each song ends, I just push stop and then go to the next song. And this thing, I could have made their ears bleed, I think, with it. Didn't have it cranked all the way. Ah, Janice, drive safe. Welcome, but drive safe, please. So, Jack, you have like 2 of those? Wow. That's pretty cool. I don't know if anybody saw it. I think it was the very first video I did, so maybe not everybody saw it here. I'm piling up paperwork over here from all my other videos. That is a 45 watt amp. It's a 45 watt amp into 4 ohms. Wow, Jack, you have 2. Holy smokes. That's got to be loud. I think we're going to get interrupted. My my lawn guy has just magically appeared, and I hear a lawnmower out back. So that's a 45 watt amp into 4 ohms. It's called the Quilter Microblock 45. I think it is like the 44. I think, and through 8 ohms, I just remember as a kid, if you went from 4 ohms to 8 ohms, you cut your wattage in half. So I figured, well, this is like 22.5 watts, but it's not. Going into 8 ohms, it's still 33 watts. And it's pretty darn scary as a clean, solid state amplifier. I think there's a lot of things like this out there now. I tried. Yeah, once again, I already put it away. I don't have it anymore here. But one of those little Vox new tube amps, and those things actually sound pretty scary good too. I have the AC10 version, and I would like the clean version of that. So Janice and everybody else who's here, Alex Radford was on earlier, just doing kind of a live stream, kind of because there's nothing else to do with the coronavirus. And he played, man, he's good. He's really good. And of course, he played some stuff that was apparently copyrighted, and they cut his stream off. So, so he went to some other thing to live stream. I will play a metal backing track. I won't play it along with it because this may hurt your ears. You know, the interesting thing, when I record a regular video, I use a Canon camera, a pretty decent camera, good lens, and I use a Rode microphone, and there's compression built into the camera or into the microphone. So when I hit a really sharp note, it compresses it down right away. It grabs it, so everything's very even. And that's really cool in some ways. In other ways, I want something to kind of ring out so you can get the real idea what it's like. And it just won't let it happen. It'll compress it so much. So where was I going with that? I don't have to remember, because then I'm 68 today. I have an excuse, right? So I'm going to play a metal. I don't think I've ever heard this one. I push enter and it says it's in the key of E. And when you push a backing track on the E band, it assigns an. Oh, I may have played along with this one on one of my videos. I'm just going to hit play. Yep. Anyway, I heard that and I thought that's interesting. They classified that as metal heavy bass. Give you a taste of classic metal here. I should act like I'm playing with it. Can't see my hands. It's really loud, really. Well, it says it's in E minor. So that is a 13-second long loop that they send along with the E band, and there's like probably 150, 200 of them, different styles and things in there. So Jack, that was really loud, huh? Here I can hear it, but it's just really, and that has to do with this Logitech camera, I think, and also that StreamYard is using you to do anything with the audio that I can tell. I go to the audio thing and there's nothing. I can just tell it what the source is and that's it. So Staffords, how you doing there, Dave? Yeah, Janice, good for you. I still got a few months on you. Oh, the altos being, yeah. Well, the 210s, man, they blow me away just with one of them, let alone two with 212s. Wow. I should do a video with that plugged in, but I don't know how my camera and microphone may pack up and leave the house and never return or something. I don't know. But hey, Ricky, how you doing? It's interesting. It's nice free software, StreamYard. Oh, there it shows that there's 11 folks there. Wow. Well, welcome everybody. I did this just a quick update. I don't know if I finished about Alex. He was playing. He's really good. And did I see somebody say hi, Alex? Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Ricky and Janice. Okay. Yeah, so Alex Radford was playing, but he was doing some copyright stuff, and YouTube caught him right in the middle of his stream. So he went somewhere else and did a live stream elsewhere. But he was with, most of us are sitting home with the coronavirus thing going on, and there's just not a lot to do. So I thought I would just run a stream. Oh, and I've been going an hour and 1 minute. Okay, I'm learning where to find these things out. So give you another one. I know a lot of you guys, there's heavy rock in here. There's metal power drums. We'll try cowbell rock after this. Yeah, it's a 9-second loop. And the idea is that you can just figure out what riffs you're going to play over, that sort of thing. And it tells you the key, A minor. Interesting that they're on their second generation of the E band, and they still have some of them that'll say A minor, and when you start to play along, it's not A minor at all. Yeah, I had my birthday lunch with my family today, and my brother was saying that he had stopped by a store. We have a store called Fred Meyer. It's a Kroger-owned store, and he had stopped by there, and there were empty shelves yesterday. I went shopping on Thursday, and there were no empty shelves. So something happened between Thursday and yesterday. They were low on toilet paper, but everything else was stocked to the ceiling on Thursday at my store, different store. Thank you, Ricky. Gabriel, yeah, I'm 29 today. Yeah, that's right. And you can hear the amps they sound from the GT100. Pretty scratchy, itchy, but some are not. Oh, cowbell rock. I said I was going to do I have no idea what cowbell. Some of these I don't think I've ever played. Makes me want to buy a cowbell just for that. So that's a 15-second loop. Wow, Jack, I'm reading your comment. Tomorrow it's on lockdown and police will patrol the street. You can't even be on the streets? Quick. I don't feel well. Somebody call me a lawyer. I mean, a doctor. Wow. I could see if they ask everybody to do that voluntarily, but I don't know that. Wow. It's the problem. I worked in healthcare all my life, but I went back to school and did a paralegal thing. So when I read things like that, right away I go into legal mode. Dante, I don't see Dante here. There he is. Yeah, I don't really celebrate my birthday. I just let it go. We usually go out and get cake or pie or something like that. But with the virus, I don't know if it's worth the risk. But they're closing all restaurants in Michigan. We've got all of our schools statewide in Oregon closed, yeah, I think today's the first day. And we've not closed restaurants yet. We ate at a restaurant today at lunch. We got there at 11:30. We always eat at 11:30 so we can avoid the lunch crowd. And it was quite crowded already. And what that was the leftover from the late breakfast crowd. And by the time we ordered and got our food, we looked around and there was there was two other people. There was a guy and a gal behind us way over, and there was a guy sitting down a ways. And this was this is called an Elmer's restaurant. It's like a pancake house, lunch, dinner. And there was no lunch crowd. At 12 o'clock, the place was empty, minus our table and just two others. So, yeah, that's a good question, Dante. We really have, well, I'm guessing ours is no different than anybody else. We have a big issue with that in Oregon, even in the smaller cities. And we've opened here, and they actually opened a few years back with a higher capacity than was needed. And so people from other cities started telling people to go to the homeless shelter there. They got room. And yeah, and I know that homeless, we have two of them, and I know they're both, and in the town where I used to work has two of them, and it's a small 50,000 people town down south of me in Albany. And I have a little doubt they're like 75 to 100 beds each, and they're full. I'm sure they're full when it's cold out. And so and I'm in Western Oregon. It's usually temperate climate, but we've had freezing weather every night off and on, pretty much. Not every night, but many nights for the last 2 to 3 weeks. Your schools closed statewide Wednesday. Here in Wisconsin. Yeah, I don't know. I know my brother was talking about his grandkids are home from school, but yeah, they're in a different school. They're in. No, I think they're in public school maybe now. I was thinking they were in private, maybe not. But so yeah, I don't know what kids are. I mean, it's spring break is like next week. So here we're closing for 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks or something like that. Yeah, more cowbell. That'll beat the coronavirus. I got a fever and I need more cowbell. Yeah. So I always harp about how much I dislike the older Epiphones. The newer ones seem like they're better, at least on the fretwork. This was when the store up in Portland, Apple Music. They're closed now, but that guy had collected guitars. It was about probably 3 times bigger than a Guitar Center, and they had a guitar and amp warehouse 3 times bigger than a Guitar Center. Then they had their acoustic store, and then they had a drum store. It took up a whole city block. And that guy started collecting guitars back in the 60s, and as you went around the store, you could see every old guitar from the late 50s and early 60s all the way around the store. It was really a cool thing. And I found this there, and they just took it on as a project. And they said it had bad frets. They had to do fret work. And I think they either replaced the nut or they filed the nut. I don't remember. And they said the bridge was really screwy, so they actually put a similar identical type bridge in because the original one was the color is great. That's what I'm a sucker for color. Yeah. Yeah. So they had done all that work and were still selling it, but it was way up high on the shelf and I couldn't get to it. I said, "What's the deal?" And they said, "After all the work we put into it, we don't want anybody just pulling it down and banging it. We wanted to make sure that only serious people," I mean, it was, back in the day. I bought it. I was up at the Blues Fest in Portland. If you're ever in Portland in July, plan around the Blues Fest there. It's 50,000 people a day at Waterfront Park. And it's like the biggest blues fest this side of the Mississippi or something like that. And it always runs at least 4 days, and they always bring in some pretty big names. Although recent years I've been a little disappointed. But anyway, I just took a break because I couldn't be around 50,000 people anymore. So usually a little lighter in the morning and afternoon, and then after 5 it really crowds up. But so an Apple Music was like 2 blocks away. So I went to Apple Music and they had this one. So I ended up buying it. We stuck it in the trunk of the car. We drove around the block a few times and then went and parked somewhere else. So it couldn't be seen. And then went back to the Blues Fest. And I kind of wrecked my Blues Fest day because I couldn't wait to get home to play it. My complaint with the Epiphones are the 3-way switches. Oh, it's working. It's because I gave it some of this business the other day. They're 3-way switches on the old Epiphones. I guess the new ones. Hack was here earlier. Either DR. Maybe I was talking to DR Guitars. I don't remember. One of them had mentioned that the new Epiphones are using the Switchcraft switches, which is a big step up. Yeah, this is a floating bridge, just like a rose. I don't know if it's rosewood, but some sort of wood bridge. I don't know what they call, just a floating bridge. I've got some guitars that don't even have the, the metal part of that. It's just a wood bridge, and you talk about. There's no changing the intonation. You either got to just get a new bridge and shift it around just right and hope you're in the right spot and test it out and keep pushing. And yeah, I need to get in there. I don't think it's this one. It was another one I owned that I got rid of that was, I had it replaced and they replaced it. They said, "Oh yeah, we use all original parts." I don't know if they can actually do that in shops or not, but it was something very similar because a year later it went dead on it too. And on my Gretsch Streamliners, I've had any number of those Gretsches since they first came out. I actually have an old 5000 series from 10 years ago. And it just started giving me a little grief when I did the video on the black Gretsch. And but none of them have given me anything. The Epiphones, every single Epiphone has given me grief on the switch. So, and then there's the, I like these with the push pull that you can just, change from sort of from a humbucker to a single coil vibe. All you do is just, it's these little buttons. They just pop up, and and come off. So I don't know. I know I think there's a little retainer ring in there. I have to look at. I don't know. They just feel like they're all ready to come off. So come up with something better there. Oh, a 63 ES 175. Now you're talking dirty to me. Yeah. Wow. What a, that's a, and if your sister still has it, man, she better really take care of it. I had some old Gibsons. I had an ES 150 from the 40s and an ES 125 from the 50s and a 1948 L50. And the 150 and the L50, pretty much the exact same guitar, except the L50 is the acoustic, no pickup version of the Charlie Christian. And both of them had you could see the wood had been damaged and repaired, stabilized. I don't know what, but they just, you know, I played them for off and on for a couple of years and loved them. And, you know, just scared the heck out of me. And back then, I always joke, I always, you know, my motto is buy high, sell low, you know. So, you know, I came out even on those. I bought them, but they really weren't worth. You could buy a L50 for $800, I think I paid, and the Charlie Christian was maybe $900, the 150. And by the time I bought the 125, it was like $1,200. So the 150. Now you look at old beat up 150s and they're going for $2,000. I should have bought 10 ES 150s. In the Blues has a new video, getting huge tones at quiet volumes with big amps with no power attenuation. He's got a new video out. That's a premiere. And 6-string Brian. Okay, well, I'm going to go off. I don't want to keep anybody. 6-string Brian's coming on in 30 minutes at wow, it's 3:30 already. I didn't realize that. So 6-string Lando ASMR guitar plastic wrap removal compilation. Okay, sounds like that might be funny. I don't know. I don't know. So for those that didn't see my last live stream, I'm going to play this. Okay, that's enough. That I got a copyright strike for playing the backing track from Band in the Box last 2 Sundays ago. Edwin, if he's here, he heard it. He was on that live stream. And so I got a copyright strike, and what it was, and they said it was CD Baby. And so I went to CD Baby, and they don't tell you where to go at CD Baby, except that the guy had changed the name from Soul Ballad to Country Ballad, and he had done his own lead over it. His lead was totally different than mine. Oh, Alex Radford is live again, I see. Anyway, so I wrote YouTube when they gave me the copyright strike and contested it and said that's a backing track that's actually owned by Boss Roland. And this guy he's actually recorded over the top of that backing track. And, you know, maybe he's the one who wrote the backing track, made the backing track. Because the chords can't be copyrighted. The chord progression is an old chord progression that's been in 100 songs. And he's selling his song on that backing track for 99 cents on CD Baby. And Ben, how are you, sir? It's good to see you. I'm going to be on for a few more minutes, and then I saw 6-string Brian is going live here pretty quick. No, I lost the, I think it was Six String Brian. Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah, it's Monday, 4 o'clock West Coast time. He'll be going live, and then you go live, Ben, at 5 o'clock West Coast. Am I right? Does that sound right? Hi, Jay. Yeah, I'm joking that I never celebrate my birthday, but today's my birthday. So I thought, well, everybody's sitting home with this dang coronavirus. I went out and ate at a restaurant with my family and relatives. And yeah, 5 o'clock for Ben Coombs. Yeah, be there, be square. And then Six String Brian at 4 o'clock. That's West Coast time. USA, West Coast. Yeah. Yeah, Jack, isn't that amazing? He recorded over that backing track and he sold it for 99 cents. So I wrote him and said, I believe that backing track is the property. My lead did not, my melody line did not resemble his melody line at all. And told him where to find it and where to look it up. And I should probably email Boss Roland and say, by the way, I guess it's okay because I see other people are selling songs written over your backing track for 99 cents. Can I do that? I was sitting around recording. For those of you who tuned in a little bit later, I'm working on a video. How do you do this? I have too many chords up there. On the Robert Keeley, way too many chords. Robert Keeley, Memphis Sun, and it's an echo, and it's kind of like a dual echo, like a regular echo, and then something that duplicates what they're trying to duplicate is the sun. Wow, I just got really fuzzy. The Sun Records room, and then the reverb is trying to duplicate an 18 by 33 foot asbestos tiled room, and it's a great little reverb, and it's a great pedal all in all. And I love the Sun mode, and you can add the reverb into the echo mode or the Sun mode, and then or you can use the reverb as a room reverb on its own. And it's a compact little package, and it's like one of the best reverb echoes I've ever. But you got to remember, I use that short slap back. Yeah, Jay, it was yeah, some guy used this backing track. I'll just play a split second of it. It's from the Boss E Band. It's called Soul Ballad. I played a little. Anyway, I played a little, minor pentatonic major stuff over it. He recorded his own thing on it and claims a copyright on it as a song and is selling it for 99 cents on CD Baby. So when I did my live stream, I played that backing track and I got a copyright claim from CD Baby claiming I was playing this guy's song. And so I disputed it. I thought I had to. With YouTube and said that backing track is actually owned by Boss Roland. Yeah, it's very Ray Charles like, and that's why it's under Soul Ballad here. He renamed it Country Ballad. I don't remember his name. Larry something on CD Baby. And you know, they can claim a copyright on that. They can't, I don't believe. I think that's just a goofed up thing. So I'm still waiting. Yeah, and remember with it's very much like Georgia. And I don't know that I don't know that all these, like YouTube and everybody, understands that chord progressions generally aren't copyrightable. Otherwise, none of us could be playing blues, right? A 3-chord or rock and roll, 3-chord rock and roller. We'd all be goofed up on that. So it's, to actually have a copyright claim, it has to copy, I forget the wording, I should know this. It has to copy it in a complete kind of fashion, or be similar enough in fashion. Ah, Joe, how you doing? Welcome. I was sitting around home waiting for the coronavirus to go down my street, and I thought, well, this may be a good time to do a live stream. Alex Radford had done one. He's a good guitar player. He had done one, but he did some copyrighted material on YouTube. Caught him, and I think they shut down his stream because it ended. He said he was going to have to leave, and before he finished it, it got cut off. And he went somewhere else for a live stream. But I've seen Six String Brian is coming on here in about 15 minutes. Randy Richter has a new video. None of you know who Randy Richter is, do you? Only I'm guessing out of this group, only I know who Randy Richter. He's a really good rockabilly historian and player from Germany, and he does rockabilly lessons kind of on YouTube. And he's really good, and he sells his rockabilly lesson plans or something like that. So for that sort of stuff, I watch him, and I watch Damien Bocci, also here on YouTube. And I bought Damien's Orange Guitars Kill Corona. That's a positive. I like that. Positive thinking. Anyway, Damien Bocci is a great player too. And then my third pick is, he doesn't really do videos here, you have to look him up, but Paul Pagat from a band out of Vancouver, BC called Cousin Harley. And he's more like, he's really good. He's just darn near Brian Setzer good. Yeah, he's really something. So, and I think there's a video. I think I inhaled my coffee. I think he did a video with Greg Koch, with Gregory Cockery, one of my favorite guitar players. Yeah, if I did a favorite guitar player list, it would be very different than yeah, from the live stream. I was going to do a whole video on it, and then I decided, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to do that. I'll just include it in the live stream, because there's only DR Guitars was about the only fella that showed up right at the end of the stream. I don't know what he was doing up at 3 in the morning. But somebody else showed up right at the end too, but yeah. Rainy night in Georgia. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm so lyrically challenged. I used to have a really good voice, but I would learn the first verse of every song when we played in the band, and then I would just wing it for verse 2. And I actually am that guy who sang along with "You Can't Hide Your Hawaiian Eyes." And somewhere down the road, I thought, why would they be singing about Hawaiian eyes? What's that about? And my friends had a good laugh with that. So yeah, so I any songs that have I always listen to, in the 60s. I guess we got a few minutes here before Brian goes live. In the 60s, we had Pop 40 radio and we cursed at it because it was so very diverse. It didn't play strictly the music we liked as teenagers. And you'd listen to Beach Boys and maybe the Beatles, and then Leslie Gore, "It's My Party, I'll Cry If I Want to." And then you would listen to Girl from Ipanema with Stan Getz and Joyo Gilberto. And, it was really Love is Blue by somebody. Clinical Gas, Mason Williams, It was so diverse, but it didn't play the music we liked. So we cursed it AM radio, Pop 40. Now I kind of look back and think how interesting that some of those songs now, if you do them as instrumentals, they actually work really well. So songs I hated back then. So Halface, thank you for stopping by. We'll see you around. You stay safe and take care. Play those reverends, man. You like minor seventh style jams? Yeah. Like just like a 145. Jimmy Biter, how are you, sir? You're getting in on the end here. We're going to close her out here in a couple minutes because six string. I must have a virus or something. Six string Brian is coming on here in just about 10 minutes, and then at 5 o'clock Ben Coombs is coming on, and we don't want to miss that. Yeah. Thank you, Hippie. Thank you again. Thank you for your help. You're trying to wake up from an, yeah, I went to bed at like 1 and woke up at 6. They had sadly, about block and a half away from my house, somebody had a house fire at about 5:36 in the morning, and I just kept hearing trucks, and it was garbage day. And I said, "It's the garbage trucks." And I thought, "Why are the garbage trucks? Why are they keep coming by?" It was actually fire trucks driving by to go to the fire trucks, ambulances, police, everybody. And when I noticed then, when I woke up, I noticed coming through the window on the wall this glow. I thought, well, that's strange. I looked out, and there was huge, big glow coming with lots of smoke. So somebody sadly had a bad fire down the block. So I'm writing that down. Jay, carry too smooth. I like a change of pace from time to time, that's for sure. Wildwood Guitars just posted a Fender Custom Shop Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child Signature Strat. And highly likely that might be our old friend Greg Koch doing the demo on it. Yeah, I'm always looking for new channels to kind of check out. And yeah, Wildwood is dumping all their videos out. They always do it all at the same time. Spec chambered 58 Les Paul Standard. Interesting. A spec chambered from the Gibson Custom Shop. Spec chambered 1958 Les Paul Standard. I always get a kick. Those are all really and a Paul Reed Smith Guitars 408 Artist Package. They always give the serial number so you know exactly which one you're looking at. And I mean, you can go right to those videos right now, and I bet you on one or two of them that'll say, "Sorry, this guitar sold." And they're really high end, you know, the custom shop stuff. So yeah, and Ben, I plead guilty. Man, you had Larry Mitchell on last night, who I did not. I'm going to go back and watch that. Shauna Marie, how are you? I watched some of your videos, Shauna. They were very nice. I think I found your channel maybe through Ben. Through Ben or through Amanda or somebody, so I'm not sure. Anyway, you want to hear a really nice voice, you go over to Shauna Marie Sings, over to her channel and check her stuff out. Yeah, I got to go back and watch that, Ben. Anyway, I got to I gotta get my Larry Mitchell fix there. So. Okay, oh, wow, it says Six String Brian is live. So, folks, I'm going to cut this off. Thank you so much for coming by. I just thought, you know, if nothing else, I'll do a live stream and see what happens. Everybody's probably isolated. I know here in Oregon, we haven't closed restaurants, but they think that's going to happen tomorrow. And I did get out to the restaurant for my birthday lunch. And so that was cool. And nobody was there. It's probably the safest time to go eat at a restaurant. There's nobody there. Go see a movie. You know, there's nobody at the theaters. But a lot of the places are starting to close up. Our schools are closed here in Oregon. And the governor's talking about closing restaurants. They did that in Washington State, my old home state, I believe, starting today. Yeah, Jay, I hear you. Yeah. Sometimes people just catch on, and I don't want to say anything bad, but sometimes there's people that are really famous. I mean, they're good. They're really good, right? But they're just nothing I want to listen to at all. And then other people that do stuff that I think, man, alive, that's just full of what I call is soul. I find it soulful, and everybody's preferences are different. Thank you, Joe. And so, as somebody mentioned earlier, I'm 29 today. So we just have to add a few decades to that. Anyway, but there's other people that just got that stuff that I like, whatever it is, and they don't get that far. And one of those would be for me on YouTube is there's a player from Boston named Johnny A. And I think the guy's he does other people's music, and he's a great interpreter of music. He's a great writer. He writes his own music as well. He does something as pristine as Wichita Lineman, clean. And then he'll do his Jimmy Jam, which is a tribute to Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix, and just knock your socks off. I've seen him live a few times, and he used to have a band that he toured with. Now he's kind of going solo. He was really good with a band. So, yeah, Joseph. So I'm going to head out. It is 3:56. I'm going to run downstairs and I'm going to get more coffee. I'm going to tune into Brian, and then I'm going to watch Ben at 5 o'clock West Coast time, 8 o'clock East Coast. And Six String Brian is coming on right now. So I'm going to head out right now, folks. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. Please stay safe out there. Whatever you got to do. Find a grocery store that's open all night and go. That's what I did the other day. I went shopping during the day and learned my lesson. I had to go again, so I went in the wee hours of the morning. So we'll catch you again down the road. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. What do I do? How do I end this? There. Okay.